Hi YouTube and welcome to another edition of WTFRUreading.com's book blog. This is the edition where I have a little bit of a rant as well as a book review. My rant is that I am a reader of erotic romance. Some people would call it erotica, but I refer to it as erotic romance because erotica usually means that there's a lot of sex and no happy ending tied with a bow. The stuff that has hit the mainstream as of late is just that. It has the erotic bent to it, but it does have the romance tied with bow. Everybody's happy aspect to it, along with a little bondage or S&M or whatever you want to call it. My problem with erotic romance is that publishers have done the same thing that they always do with a series or a book or a predecessor in a genre that has done moderately well. This in erotica happens to be 50 Shades of Grey. Listen, publishers, I'm only going to say this once. I was one of the people who lost IQ points when I read 50 Shades of Grey. I won't say that I don't have a few IQ points to spare, but I don't have that many. Anyway, stop writing on your books that your book is somehow comparable to 50 Shades of Grey. That will make me not read your book. Let me say that once again. Stop writing on your book that your books are comparable to 50 Shades of Grey. Because I read everything. I read the back of the cereal box. But if I read a synopsis, and in that synopsis it says anything about your book being 50 Shades of Grey comparable, I will not read it. Okay? So stop. Case in point was If I Were You by Lisa Renee Jones. Gallery Books was kind enough to send me this book in a finished copy, and I got a chance to read it. This is a beautiful, intelligently written, fully articulated, wonderfully fleshed out erotic romance that is about a young teacher who stumbles upon the journal that belongs to a woman that works in an art gallery and was very, very, very sexually adventurous. And because the journal ended with a cliffhanger as opposed to the whereabouts and what happened to its owner, Sarah decides that she is going to embark on a journey that is going to help her find out the whereabouts of this lady. Because the more that she learns about Rebecca, the more she's afraid that she has met with some sort of a foul end, and she wants to make sure that she's still alive and that everything is okay with her. What happens to Sarah is that she herself gets involved in a love affair with an artist by the name of Chris Merritt, and she also finds herself in a bit of a love triangle between Chris and her boss at the gallery, which she eventually ends up working at. Her boss at the gallery is quite the dominant male, and if there was a bondage situation going on, he would be the master and she would be the slave. Although there is none of that type of play going on in this book. That was just a reference to give you an idea of who would be who if that were going on in this book per se. She falls in love with Chris, and he falls in lust with her, and there's a lot of juicy bits going on between she and Chris, and then there's some tug of war over her going on between Chris and her boss at the gallery, but she asserts herself and kind of picks who she wants to be with and whose side that she's on, but there still is the mystery of who and where and what happened to Rebecca going on all the time as well. And then you find out things about her that you didn't know that makes her character all the more appealing and her story all the more rich, as well as finding out some things about Chris that you didn't know. So as far as the mystery and the skeletons in the closet, Chris and Sarah are about what for what, and you kind of lose track of the aspect of Rebecca for a while because you get so involved in what's going on between Chris and Sarah and the gallery owner and the mysteries that are going on there and all of the juicy sex bits. So this again is If I Were You by Lisa Renee Jones. It was sent to me by Gallery Books, and I would definitely give this 5 stars. It is the first book in a series by this author, and I can't wait for the second book, guys. When I tell you that this book is delicious, it is delicious. I devoured it in one sitting. That was with people in the room talking and things going on around me, which I tuned out because I was so in tune with this book and what was going on. This is definitely a book to read. This is definitely a series to watch. And this is nothing like 50 Shades of Grey. To compare the two would be like comparing filet mignon to a trip to McDonald's at 2 o'clock when you're really hungry because you've been watching all of those stupid Taco Bell commercials and there's nobody at home but you and your very needy chihuahua. Okay? So, go get this book, guys. This book is definitely a 5-star rating from me for romantic erotica. And contrary to what it says on the back of the book, it's nothing like 50 Shades of Grey. Otherwise, I wouldn't have read it. Thank you guys so much for giving me your time, and I can't wait to tell you what I'm going to be reading next. I'm Frishawn from WTFRUreading.com. Thanks. Bye.